Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create Autopilot device group in order to add all the devices which are part of Entra ID as well as the devices those would be added into the Intune Autopilot, right? So all those devices needs to be added in a specific group, and that is when it is going to add all those devices to the Autopilot, and then those can be managed as a enrolled device from Enter ID, right? So to do that, we need to create a separate group, and that group is going to be a dynamic group. So that group is going to add all the devices automatically in it, and then that group can be targeted to our autopilot profile when we are going to create autopilot profile, and then that profile is going to be picked in order to bring the devices into autopilot, and then we can push out all the different configurations policies and settings and configurations altogether, and those devices would be managed, right? So this was a bit context about that, and I'm going to show you how we can create that group from the Intune admin portal itself, and then also I'm going to show you the expression that we need to add into that particular group. So there are different expressions that we can add basis on the requirements or basis on the need, right? And those expressions are going to be executed basis on the rules that we are going to add there, and then it is going to simply add the devices into autopilot, right? So let's jump on. I'm here at Intune admin portal, and then I need to click on groups. So once we click on group here, we see the bunch of groups that we have created before, and to create a brand new, we need to click on new group here, and then give it a name. Let's say I wanted to give it a name, right? Device. I'm going to give it AP Autopilot device group, and then I'm going to put the same description here as well. And there you see different options. The first option says Microsoft Entra roles can be assigned to the group. We can assign it if it is required, but in this case we don't need, so I'm going to keep it no. And the membership type, that is very important for us to change it, because we cannot keep this group type or membership type as assigned. Instead, we need to use dynamic device group membership, and then we are going to add a dynamic rule or dynamic query here. So I'm going to show you that query and the breakdown of that query completely from beginning till the end, and you will understand that query, what this query does, how it is going to add the devices automatically, and then how it works as well. So once we are here at the dynamic membership rule page, now you might be wondering how we can do that. We can do that here from here as well, right? So let's say I wanted to add device physical ID here, then it should be any. It is not going to equals. Instead, we should put any here, and then I'm going to add a condition here. So condition is going to be something like this. So let me pick that up. So this is the condition, and now you see the rule syntax has been created successfully here for us. And this rule syntax is going to be adding all the devices which has the device physical ID property is matching, or is going to match with, starts with attribute here, which has ZTDID. So what is ZTDID? So it is going to be something, a marker which is being used for Windows Autopilot to denote that the device has been registered within Autopilot profile, and then it is going to registered, and then it is going to match with the device physical ID to start with that specific prefix, right? And that is when it is going to identify it, and once that is matching, that means all the devices which are going to be part of this one, those would be added. So now you might be wondering what device physical ID is. So device physical ID is going to be a property which is going to pick up the device from the Azure AD, and it has its own physical ID associated with the device, right? So that is when that physical ID is going to be considered with this property here, and then it is going to match. And then we have selected operator as any, so that is a logical operator. Any means any device which has a device physical property ID, it is going to simply capture, and then that is going to be added into this group because it is going to match this rule syntax here, right? So as soon as this rule syntax is matched, that means that device is going to be part of this device or this group, and then it is going to be added to the device or this group automatically. And once it is added, it is going to become a part of Autopilot device group, and then the device becomes Autopilot device, and we can push that device through Intune, or that can be managed as soon as we enroll it, right? So now this is how we can create. If we don't wanted to do this one, then there is another way that I'm going to show you. Let me copy this for a while, and you can simply click on this edit button here, and you can simply edit or modify anything that you wanted to change from here, right? So basis on that, you can add multiple example rules here. You can see department dot user dot department equals accounts, and then other attributes. Then similarly you can add other attributes which has a different query rules, and we can target those different categories, right? So that becomes complex rule syntax in case we are adding multiple rules, and then in many cases that is not the good way to do because it is going to break the existing workflow, or maybe that is something we don't want it to do, right? So definitely there are different requirements and needs, and basis on that we can go ahead and do. And if it is matching our requirements, then that's well and good, and we can, or we should go ahead and do that, right? So this is it. This is how we can create the dynamic membership rule, and then we can also, we have option to validate it here. If it is matching correctly, to validate that we need to add a device from here. But before that, we have different checks here. You can see in group, not in group, and unknown. That means these are the different checks. If green tick mark shows that, it shows that if the device is part of this group, then it is going to show green. If not in, then it is going to show simply cross check and then unknown, that is not part of any of these two, and it is not matching with this rule syntax. That's a simple, right? And to check that one, you can see I have one device here. So let's say I'm going to select it, and it is now checking the status. So as soon as it checks, you see we got the status here, which says dynamic membership rule validation error, which is invalid operands found for operator, invalid operands found for operator, which is any, right? So this is not matching because this device is not part of Autopilot at all, as I'm creating this group, brand new group from scratch, right? And this device was added before, right? So to do that, we can simply create this group, and as soon as I add any other device as an intra joined device later, that is going to be part of this group, and then it is going to simply add automatically, right? So this is how we can create this group, and it is going to pick up all the devices, and those devices would be added, right? So another rule I'm going to show you, which is going to be something like this. Let me show you it here. So this second one, which is similar to the same above, right? But here you see order ID and then this particular number, right? So this is going to capture the order ID from the Intune. And now you might be wondering where this order ID is going to be added or populated, right? So this order ID is going to be added by the vendor or the OEM providers who are actually going to provide the devices like Lenovo, HP, or Dell, right? So those are the different vendors from where we would be purchasing the devices, and they are going to add the device details as well as order details in Autopilot profile from their side, and then that order ID can be part of this specific group as soon as or whenever we are creating, and then we can target that specific group in order to join the devices to the Autopilot, or maybe we wanted to create a separate or brand new Autopilot profile for a brand new different group of devices altogether, right? And this is when how we can segregate the different locations, maybe if you wanted to add or enroll devices and manage differently for US location and for UK locations, for India locations, and for any other locations, right? So this is another way to do that. Also, there is another rule that I'm going to show you, which is going to be something like this. So this is the another one, which is going to be the initial would be same, and then the second part of this would be purchase order ID is going to be something like this. So this is also the similar way, and we can add it and bring that device to the Autopilot to create devices. So this is going to be on a specific purchase order where we have that purchase order ID added, and then the previous one which I showed you here, this is on a tag level. So we can add the tag, and that tag is going to be added by the OEM providers, and then basis on that we can add those devices to the Autopilot, right? So these are the different query rules that we can use, and for now or for this video purpose I'm going to keep only the first one that I have selected and keep it, and then I'm going to simply save this. So as soon as I save this, this is going to be created and it is going to let us create this group. So let me copy this group name and create it. So now this is creating. Oh, membership rule validation invalid. Okay, yeah, it is failed because we have tried adding a validation here and that was failed. Okay, let's go back here. Let's go back and let me search it here. Oh, that didn't create. Then let's go ahead and create a separate group again, because it is the same way, but it just failed because of the query that was added with the device. So to do that, I'm going to simply click edit and then copy this expression and then put that expression here and remove the last dot and click OK. So once that is added, you can see the same expression was automatically added, and I can simply save it and then click on this create button. Perfect. So now it is created, you can see at the top, and also you can search the same group here by selecting. Now you see the group is created. The group type is security and membership type as dynamic group, because we are adding devices dynamically and there is no manual action. So dynamic is going to be something which is going to happen automatically on behalf of us as administrators, right? And we as administrator don't have to take any actions in order to add the devices. But when we wanted to manage group or change something, definitely there is a need for us to go ahead and change the membership and owners and other properties and other configurations altogether. So there is, you can see also dynamic membership rules here. If in case you wanted to come back and see, and if you wanted to modify or something, then you can simply come back and click on edit button here, and then it is going to be allowing you to edit and do the appropriate changes that you wanted to do, right? So this is how you can create a group, and this is how this group would be created and added in Intune. So also this is going to add all the devices automatically, and once it is created we can simply target that group to the policies and configurations and all of the different things that we wanted to push on the devices, right? So that's all for this video. Hope you like it. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.